to all of that. Deepest condolences go out to the family and friends of the 4 divers who they have announced have lost their lives. I'm hearing that they've recovered 3 bodies so far. I'm hearing unofficial reports. The family and friends of Kazim Ali Jr., Yusuf Henry, Faisal Kurban, and Rishi Nagasa. May they rest in peace. Eternal rest grant unto them, O Lord. And let their light continue to shine. To their families and friends, wives, children, mothers, fathers, condolences on behalf of the entire douglAR politics crew, douglAR Radio, Corky, Vishnu, Archie, Victor, Marsha, Alan, everybody. Deepest condolences. Now I'm going to start off because all you know I don't like the PNM. That's known. All you know, not only not the PNM alone because of their policies for 60 years, but you all know that I really detest Keith Christopher Rowley. And you all understand that leaders surround themselves with people who are similar in nature, similar in heart, similar in soul, similar in thought processes. I want to ask you all something. What kind of human beings would treat other human beings in their darkest moments so poorly? What sort of human being can you be? You see, you all may have thought it was a small thing, but when I showed you all and I went into details about Keith Christopher Rowley, when he was driving his golf cart and he bounced the lady, and the story he gave and the stories we heard, and that he didn't budge to get out of the golf cart, when any normal man, not even any great man, any normal man who had a mother who brought him up would have immediately, unconsciously, automatically jump to the lady, jump quick to, you all right, ma'am, you all right, and help up the lady, see about her, just automatically without thinking. That is an instinct that is put into young boys by their mothers who take care of them. Something is wrong, I told you all, deeply wrong with Keith Christopher Rowley. And when you are a leader, you select people around you like yourself in your own image. And that's why you see Stuart Smallpin, heartless young, is Rowley's superstar because he reminds him of himself. Rowley even looks in the mirror and sees himself pink like Stuart Young. Faris Al-Rawi, Newman George, A.A. Kwamena, Noel Garcia, Convent Gyal, Colm Imbot, Rohan Sinan, all of them have similar makeups, similar inhumanity, similar lack of instinctual empathy, lack of sympathy. In other words, them is the Dokia crew. I ain't reach no politics yet, I'm just talking normal human being thing. Whether you use PNM or UNC, a man who bunks a lady, if you're going in a mall, or you're coming out of cinema, or you're going in a line, or you're going in them pod to mash up and break health regulations and your bunks, it's the normal thing is, oh God, sorry ma'am, oh, sorry, pick up this. That is normal. These fellas and them don't have that. So when I ask you, and I say, let's just start at the basic level, right? Let's start at the basic level. I want you all out there listening to answer me this. Some sons, husbands, children missing. There was an accident. I ain't getting into no details yet. We don't know what's going on. Fellas underneath the water. Family members there. How come as soon as they arrive in the area, the leadership, the management, which is all PNM, just understand this, because a government company created by Rowley, appointed chairman is Rowley best friend of 48 years. They're so close. Rowley, Newman George and Anisette George, they share things that we cannot even fathom. How they could share things like that and still be friends. You understand? That's how close they are. The PNM then hires who they want and put them in position in this brand new PNM Paria company. Because Rowley had to shut down Petrotrin. Because a man tell him either if all you feel I going down alone or you lie. If I go down, everybody go down. And Rowley lie on everybody and say Winfred Espinay, the board, all kind of people tell them shut down. No, nobody told them shut down. Rowley shut down Petrotrin on his own. And appointed his PNM board with his best friend, who then selects the manager and the HR committee, advertises and put out the whole organizational structure. So they chose their people. So I'm asking y'all, I'm asking each and every human being out there, when the parents arrived of divers who were trapped, why they didn't usher them into a room, an air-conditioned room, with a couch, with a chair, with some coffee, with a phone, with some Wi-Fi, just to sit down there and let them be in the office there and give them updates, but just have them comfortable. What was wrong with that? Why did that not happen? Wouldn't that be the first thing you, and I'm talking to each and every one of y'all who listening there now, you in charge, an incident occurs, questions, no answers, but men in danger. The family members arrive. What stops you from taking the mothers, fathers, wives, and put them inside in a comfortable air-conditioned room with coffee and cricks and cheese? Could you, what stops you from doing that? Let's start there. And then an hour pass, and 2 hours pass, and 10 hours pass, 24 hours pass, and you leave people at the lowest point in their lives, confused, alone, feeling forsaken, and you leave them in a galvanized shed, a little bus shed outside. I ain't going no further than that for now, you know. And up to now, they're still outside. The member of parliament for Point of View, David Lee, did a press conference from 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And up to that point, he said no one from Paria had even come out to invite the family members in to keep them secure and comfortable and in an area where they could be briefed from time to time. 72 hours and counting later, you left human beings. I'm asking you all this. What manner of human being would do that? That was too much. It was too difficult. It was too intellectual. What it was that you can't say, Mrs. Ali, Mr. Ali, Mr. Nagasa, Mrs. Henry, Mr. Henry. Okay, you can't take the whole Henry family, or you can't take the whole Ali family. Mr. and Mrs. or wives, or wife and child, eldest child, 2 or 3 representatives of each family. So for the most 12 people, y'all couldn't take 12 family members and put them in an office, in a lobby, in a place where they could sit down in air condition, where they could have Wi-Fi, where they could talk, where they could use a phone, a landline. Y'all couldn't do that. So nowhere in Paria management structure created and infiltrated by P&M. Nobody had the heart to do that. And then you come out in a press conference 8 p.m. to tell me, oh, Paria have something. There's so much what? Sensitive facilities. The people not going and smoke cigarette. They're not going and blow up nothing. You're putting them in an office. So Paria don't have receptionists. Paria don't have secretary. Paria don't have no administrative office building inside it. With a chair. With a leather chair like what Corky and them just sit on there sometime. Where the leather chair them go, they take it? They take it next side? Boy, Balu send the leather chair for Corky, yeah? Where they take it?
MCTV have it.
MCTV? Look, Mr. Balu, big boy, bring back Corky leather chair, please. MCTV, my foot. Anyway. So they could not. Corky, I want somebody to explain that to me, and I'm going to take some calls. They are not going, are going further after. But just on basic, Corky, these people, the children, they need, you could, your son underwater, in the darkness, you're confused, you don't know what's going on. And you telling me nobody in the government, no prime minister, no minister of energy, no minister of communication, no chairman of Paria, no board member of Paria, no CEO of Paria, no manager of Paria, no communication specialist of Paria, no hospitality person at Paria, know that the normal humane thing to do is say, excuse me, good afternoon.
Yeah.
I've been told by management, please, that I can take 2 or 3 representatives of each diver, a totaling 12 people inside, please, so that we have no information right now, but if you all could just follow me inside so that we can keep you there, so that as we get information, you will be right there in a room comfortable, and we can give you information on your loved ones. That song ain't difficult. I really want to know if that song ain't difficult. If I am being too hard on the P&M, I'm being too hard on the management of Paria. I'm being too hard on Stuart Young, because you all know I don't like or respect that clown. Am I being too hard? That was too much to ask. I saw video after video, live after live of our mother sitting down on a hard bench out there under some galvanized. I think Philip Alexander and then bring some tent and thing after. So you mean Paria at no point thought it humane, thought it necessary, thought it courteous, thought it empathetic to just invite some members of the family inside the compound, to treat them like human beings? They didn't think that would go far as a solid gesture. 218-7762. I stop in there for a little while, and then we are going to the nitty-gritty. There are plenty questions, don't frighten. But let me just start with that now. Good evening.
Yes.
Hello.
Good afternoon, Anil.
Good evening.
This is Cascadia.
How are you going?
Your blessings, man. Don't mind we in part of the pigsty. But the lady the Speaker of the House, she husband, is in charge of everything. What kind of conflict of interest is that? And a negligence to the people who stuck in that pipe. Shotong doesn't have the utmost respect for these people. To say we'll go and accommodate them. Is that take place? Not a sign of relief or a word of consolement to these people from that criminal. But man, he would put him down in the next end of that pipe. Thank you.
I want to know, am I being, are my standards too high? Is it so difficult that in the time of a tragedy, that members of the pariah could not come and say, Mrs. Ali, Mr. Ali, come inside. Mr. Henry, please, Mrs. Henry. Somebody, y'all come inside. Mr. Kurban, Mr. Nagasa, Mrs. Nagasa, y'all please come inside. Turn down the volume on your radio, please. Good evening.
Several channels.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening. You're on point, channel. You're on point. You make that sound pretty easy, and sometimes the easy stuff has gone a long way in being hospitable to family members. You know, it's about a movie called Last Breath on Netflix. And similar situation occurred, and they outlined procedures to handle these situations. And it goes a long way, even as simple convincing someone and say, hey, we don't, as I say, we don't have much information, but you go feed our information as things progress. We make people comfortable. Like the parents make it hard for you to love them. It's so easy to do something like that. You know what I mean? So you're on ball, Arnold, I must say.
Thank you, my brother. That's, that's all I'm starting with. Because what you're telling me, nobody around had a heart. Nobody have loved ones. Nobody could put themselves into the shoes of people who in pain. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hi. I also want to agree with your point of view. The people at Paria treated those divers, the family of those divers, like dog, like worse than dog. I've never seen such gross disrespect for life. It was absolutely disgusting. And some people need to be fired. I also want to mention, though, that the OWTU was there providing support, bringing coffee, drink, etc., that Paria did not provide and didn't think about doing. So I just want to mention that as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I must say, in some of the videos, I saw Pep, PP, Philip Alexander, and bring pizza for the people, juice, water. But that's not their job. I mean, it's nice that they did it. But Paria, y'all serious? So nobody in there even care. Hello, somebody go explain it to me. I don't understand. Hello, good evening.
Good afternoon. This is Sada Roti Tomato Chuka and Saina Vex Corky. Good afternoon to you.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
Right, listen to this. Arnold, you see the way Paria behaves? It is a representative of a pickup side. I read on one of the newspaper the lady who was communicating with them, who appears to be a representative of Paria, responded to them in a hog-like manner. Who have animals at farm and hug and thing and behave like a hog? I mean, that was disgusting. These people were in distress. Show some sympathy. The fact that you responded so shows exactly what. I mean to say 72 hours and your senior management hasn't been able to respond or come. Why? We paying, taxpayers paying for you for your phone. A company like that, which is a very sophisticated company to run, you have to have the best in the place. I don't know if they have a quality policy, because it appears they doesn't have none, and they have no quality systems inside it. That is why they have a failed. And the board of directors, no investigation needed. They are ultimately responsible for it, and Rowley has to go. I mean, they say it's short and simple. Is that discussion? And I hope this investigation that they're doing would recommend prosecution, criminal, what is call it?
Well, we are reached there. Yeah, we are reached there yet. But we will go through. We now start. Thank you, my brother.
Oh, okay, good.
So I'll take 1 or 2 more calls just on this point because I just want somebody to explain to me if I've been too harsh on the Paria officials, on the PNM, on the Minister of Energy because I don't like him. Am I being too harsh that they could have just treated people with some respect and taken them inside, put them in a room, air conditioned, with a comfortable chair to sit down and await any information? Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
Hey, Emma.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on? Anel, right? The people, the family, the men and them who was inside the pipe, they asked to go down and rescue the rest of the men and them. And the fire executive, who they may be, they refused the family to allow the divers and them to go down while all the knocking and the begging and things was going on inside the pipe.
All right, we are reached there yet. We going to go into all of that. I just want to know simply, did the Paria officials, did the Paria board, did the Paria management treat the family as you, because you are the ones paying them? They work for you, the taxpayers. Were you happy with how they treated the family members who were waiting for information?
Not at all. They didn't have no compassion or nothing. They didn't show nothing like that for the family.
Compassion. Thank you. You see, that is what I'm talking about. All you have no compassion. You know, you don't need to learn compassion. When you're a baby and your mother take care of you and so on, between 0 and 4, that is teaching you compassion and empathy. So let me now move on now. Let's take it first now from a communication standpoint. Because I see the crisis management, I see Miss Rhoda Barrett, who's paid a hefty salary, and I keep asking you, Rhoda Barrett, for years now, how you get the work at NLCB to be a crisis manager? Because I would have liked to apply. Was it advertised? How did you know or learn about the job? Who were the other people who you beat out, who, you know, as you went for your interview process and so on? How did other people, if anybody else, apply for this job? Was this job created by cabinet? Did it go to PMCD? Was the salary approved by PMCD to create a new position and a cabinet? No, just share that with us, because you like to talk a lot. But you are benefiting from Coleman but giving you a work to talk crisis management, which I didn't even know what is that. But this was a crisis, and I am seeing Rhoda Barrett attacking some lady on comments, pretending and asking what the PNM and what Paria should have done differently. Okay. Well, Rhoda Barrett, Anil will answer your question. Me and mine. So first and foremost, when the incident occurred, Paria should have notified the families immediately and sent vehicles with their private security escort amalgamated to pick up the family members swiftly and bring them onto the compound of Paria, greeted by management officials, CEO, all the board members. The chairman who was playing golf in Tobago they should have sent a helicopter, national security helicopter, to Tobago on the golf course to pick up Chairman Newman George and land it straight into the helipad on Paria and drop him there, where he and the CEO and the communication specialist and the hospitality specialist should have met all the parents and the family who came in, created a hospitality room for them, for however many, between 12 and 20 if you want to go, and keep them there and alert them of the initial situation, what had taken place and what is taking place now. Number one. When the family was secure, Because Rhoda Barrett, you ask what they could have done differently. Well, here what should have happened. When the family was secure, Paria's CEO and chairman of the board who had arrived on helicopter should have set up an area for the members of the media under COVID-19 protocol, not like in the NCC pods and thing in the Queen's Park, Savannah, and all over Trinidad where COVID-19 don't exist. But you all love to use COVID-19 protocols, okay. And they should have invited all members of the media inside the Paria's compound in a secure area close to or next to where the family was. Separated because the family will determine whether they want to be interviewed or not. They could have their privacy and they could choose what they want to do. And all members of the media should have been ushered in to a media assembly room inside of the compound where the media should have been given an initial briefing of what had taken place, what job the men were doing, where they were, and what had happened, and what decisions or what at the time was occurring. Then these briefings to the media should have been done in this situation because time is of the essence. Once every hour, a communication specialist or someone appointed should have come to the media after informing the next room. The first room was the parents and family room, informing them of any developments, then going out through the door to the media assembled room to report to the media and to the population about what was going on. While this was going on, communication from the government should have begun to occur. The Minister of Energy and the Minister of Communications should have come in, and if people were on the outside, spoken to the citizens, allayed their fears and concerns, and state that the government has no information now, but we're trying to get on top of it, and someone will be sent out to notify all the people outside, including the labor union leaders and others assembled outside, other members of the family. The government minister should have gone inside and had a meeting with all this within the first hour, 2 hours, with the family members, and then probably address the media in that area inside Paria. Paria should have implemented and stated and told the media step by step what was the contingency plan, what they had in place for events like this, what they were going to do, what they were thinking about doing, what was being done, divers that were being put into play, what was the opinion, whether it was a search and rescue or whether it was a recovery. And these updates should have continued hour on the hour. Also, footage could have been supplied to the media to help them explain to the population who was worried, sickened, and not getting any information. The entire country was holding its collective breath, and the way we get information is through the media. And the explanation to come 3 days later with Stuart Smallpin Young giving a basic graph that a 6-year-old could have draw on a pipeline is ludicrous. The family members should have been asked what they would like to eat or drink, and dinner should have been provided. When equipment or information was given that certain commercial pumps and equipment had arrived, the media should have been provided with the pictures of the equipment on scene. Discussions with the Coast Guard. One would have needed information about the technical ability of the Coast Guard. Did the Coast Guard have a special commercial diving welding instructed unit? Was the Coast Guard involved over the decades in actual practice, like the fire service go through drills? Was the Coast Guard able, knowledgeable? Did they have intel on what the pipe was, what the system was, what is underneath there? Because to just say you call the Coast Guard and you ask the Coast Guard and the Coast Guard telling you and you listening to the Coast Guard is not on corral with the sort of technical information and the existence of maps and understanding of what is underneath there, what is the system, where it is going. So for you to try to explain to them what is going on, you're already wasting time. You should have had teams who have worked that same pipeline, because I'm sure it's not just one team of divers that work that pipeline. If you have worked over years and so on, you should have people who know the area, know the system, know the flow of water, know what took place, and have some ideas of what you're trying. And as you were trying different things, your communication person should have been alerting the family. Well, we are sending down a team of divers. We have the commercial equipment there. The cable is, if we went in with a 70 foot, we now going in with a 150 foot. And keep alerting the family and then the population through the media of what was taking place. But silence, no information. People trying to gather information by sending up drone to see what is going on. Hearing accounts from a diver that left more questions than answers. And saying nothing for a period of 64 hours, and then we come to hear at 8 p.m. 3 people in a dark room on a table that look like they take it out of the cafeteria at a Montessori. That this is no longer a rescue mission. This is a recovery mission. And then the next day to have a minister of energy come with such arrogance, such heartlessness, to say they have gaps. They have gaps in the gaps in the what? Gaps in the system that is supposed to be designed to save lives. Gaps in the communication system. Gaps in the heart system. Gaps in your humanity. Gaps. What is a gap? Stuart Young come to the population to say they have gaps. The only gap I know is where they had a fete in St. Anne's Day, and the gap where there's buy clothes in the USA. Gaps. Where's the gaps in your heart and soul? Where there were gaps in the PNM's humanity. There were gaps in the PNM's empathy. There were gaps in the PNM's heart. There are gaps in the care, respect for human life and for those whose loved ones were in danger. There were gaps in the systems that were created. These sort of deadly, dangerous jobs, you're supposed to know without thinking, because you know when something happens like that, you have no time to think. You must drill so much that you just go into automatic mode. Gaps in the policy, gaps in the information, gaps in the story. Then we hear that Mr. Colin Piper decided to cap the line on Friday evening. Well, let me ask Mr. Colin Piper and the PNM and Newman George something. Now, what is meant by capping the line? Where the gentlemen were in, they were doing some work in an area under the water that was dry. So it's like an upside down bowl. It's like a ball, right? They were in there doing some work. There's no water, no oil in there. There's systems to block off and to create like a vacuum in there at night where they could stand up there and breathe. So they had taken off their breathing apparatus that they needed to get down inside up there. But when they got into there with the pressure equated and so on, they could work without the heavy tank. That oxygen tank on the back is very heavy when you're out of the water. Something happened and the pressure was not equalized, and water rushed in on one side and created a suction on the other side, and all 5 men got sucked into a 36-inch pipe. Now one man, the man who went in last, who's outside now, and whose story we will read, the information that he gave. He managed, because he went in last, with some help of a hero. The hero was Mr. Faisal Kurban, who pushed him out. Anyway, I'll get into that detail just now. But one of them survived. And a diver who went in willing and risking his life pulled him out and went back in to look for the others. But he couldn't go far enough into the pipe. He came back up and he needed a longer hose, a longer rope, longer chain to go further in. And when he came up, Paria, the managers, Mr. Colin Piper, issued instructions that were carried out by the Coast Guard that no divers were to go back in there, stating that they were unsure and they didn't want to put anyone else at risk. That may sound reasonable, but in order to save people's lives, certain people who have skill, firemen, certain divers like that, they are willing to risk themselves to save others. So if Paria was worrying about if they will be responsible in a lawsuit, they could have quickly had him sign, had a diver sign an indemnity. They know about indemnity. They could have signed a release form that he diving on his own volition and they take no risk, if that is what you worried about at that time. Because that's what they said. Now I find it ludicrous, because you're talking about 4 lives underneath the water requiring help in the darkness, without the tanks, running out of oxygen, cold water, oil, gas, lungs filling up. The scariest thing you can ever imagine, even for 2 seconds. Could you imagine a minute? Think about it. Think about if you're underwater, you can't get up, your foot is stuck in the pump. Think about that split second that your foot got stuck and you're worried. Imagine you're down under there in the pure darkness. But Mr. Colin Piper then gives instruction when the real commercial equipment comes, which will assist those divers who are willing to go down and save others. That's the real equipment. But Paria doesn't use that equipment to allow people to go down to help. They use that equipment, and this is from the Paria press conference, to cap the line. Now that capping of the line, that plugging of that spot, that's where the one diver came out. And you have divers out in the boat that the Coast Guard is guarding and telling them, do not go in the water. You have to wait for a release. You have no permission. You cannot go down there to save them fellas. Mr. Piper and Paria decide to cap the line. But this was Friday evening. But let me ask Mr. Piper and them something. If you cap the only space for escape where them boys, where the divers knew that one of them got out, at least Mr. Kurban would have known that he helped and push Bujam out of that space. If you cap that, you're basically sealing the men inside. So if that was Friday PM, but Paria only announced at 8 PM on Sunday, 48 hours later, that this was a recovery mission and that the men were dead. That's what Paria came and said, you know. Then I asked the question, When you capped the line on Friday PM, the men were alive. And what do you call capping the escape route of human beings when they are alive? Doing nothing for 48 hours and then announcing they are dead. What do you call that? Forget this Paria, forget this Trinidad and Tobago. Let me pretend it's a movie. You in movie tongue Shagwanas, or movie tongue, or movie tongue cinemas, or cinemas 8 in Trin City. Imagine you there. What you call that? If you cap the one escape route that you know, if anybody know, if men know they die, the only place they may have some sort of a chance to come out. You cap that. You close it off. And 48 hours later, you come to tell the world the men dead? Really? So to all those who thought that Paria did a bang-up job, and what could they do better in communication alone? I think I have just told you all in every aspect that Paria management, Paria board, Ministry of Energy, Minister of Energy failed dramatically. They acted callously, heartlessly, without compassion. They acted without respect for the families, without respect for the country that was holding its collective breath, waiting for a little bit of hope and prayer. They failed to communicate. They failed to act. There was analysis paralysis, and the minister comes days after to tell us there were gaps. The only gap they have is in bundles' teeth. When we come back, I'm going to read for you all. Read from what the lone survivor said. The lone survivor. And you determine what is this going on here in this country. Cocky, we coming back.
My parents' generation grew up with Royal Castle. From the first restaurant in 1968, when that distinctive, tempting aroma hit the air, they just couldn't resist. And like never before, fried chicken with a special blend of local seasonings and a one-of-a-kind flavor down to the bone. Today, Royal Castle still have that same delicious taste, and I love it too. The kids can't resist it either. Plus, they have more to enjoy. For me, the castle is more than just nice food. It's we own, part of me and you, and is the real flavor of TNT.
Eddie's Pharmacy Limited, we have a selection of all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs to complement your wellness. Every product we carry is vetted and approved by our pharmacists who will be happy to assist you. With branches at C3 Mall inside JTA Supermarket, 1135 SS Erin Road in Pinal, and 54 Rosha Douglas Road in Barrackpore. We offer services such as blood pressure testing, blood sugar testing, cholesterol testing, and also offer a wide variety of pregnancy test kits. We accept most major health insurances. For further information, contact Eddie's Pharmacy at any of our 3 branches. C3 Mall, contact number 228-4990, 54 Rosha Douglas Road in Barrackpore at 654-2655, or SS Erin Road in Pinal, 647-0778, Eddie's Pharmacy Limited.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 97.5 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
New 97.5 FM, hot like pepper, multicultural radio.
Power to the listeners. Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Opening hours.
Saturday 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Sundays 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. When you think about fresh produce and good quality food, come to Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Come to the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. Great ambience, fantastic prices, all COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available. Call Waves at 731-4646 to make your reservation. Come dine with the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. You must be vaccinated to dine in.
Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock. Bed and breakfast rates available. To book, call 283-2597 or 463-2946. Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock. Island Hobbies, Ryson Road, Port of Spain has the largest variety of toys in the Caribbean and South America. No one can beat our prices. If you see it cheaper anywhere else, prove it and we will beat it. Island Hobbies, Ryson Road, Port of Spain.
As we say condolences to the family and friends of Kazim Ali Jr., Yusuf Henry, Faisal Kurban, Rishi Nagasa, to all his family and friends, and to Trinidad and Tobago and all well-wishers out there. A story that gripped the nation since Friday, 2:30 p.m. A lot of lessons to be learned, but a lot of pain involved. So condolences go out to the family and friends. And while some people may say Mr. Christopher Boudram is lucky because he survived and he came out and he's fighting for his life, I disagree. Because Christopher Boudram now has to live a life, the rest of his life, once he makes it out, and we pray that doctors do everything to ensure they get whatever's in his lungs out and so on. Could you imagine your brethren, your brothers, who you love, you work with, your family, your team? Dive in, is teamwork. It's like your cricket team, your football team, your volleyball team. You sweat, you go through torture, training, shuttles, exercise, push-ups, burpees. You play together, you win together, you lose together, you work hard. You can imagine 80% of your team dies and you survive. I wouldn't describe that as lucky. While it is great that he's alive, and I'm very happy for that, he has a lot of work to go through over the next years in order to try to get his life back to normalcy. Because to lose your brothers, and not only that, when you read this story, I'm going to read it for you all. I'm going to read it because, sometimes one thing we could do in Trinidad and Tobago is deflect. We deflect. People start dying of COVID, before one death. Oh, we are so serious, and we wanted to shut it down. One death, 8 deaths. 8 deaths for 6 months, and everything shut down, and people were kept out and so serious. And then when the Brazilian variant was allowed to come in through the porous borders, and the Brazilian variant started to attack Trinidad, and then Rowley invited people to Tobago, and the death count started to go up 7 per day, 9 per day, 15 per day, 21 per day, up to 29, 30, 37 was the record per day. We became numb. This just became numbers. So we tend to have the ability to deflect. All of a sudden now, the government say they build pod in the savannah and all hell break loose. Man could do what they want, whether in Aqua, go down the road. COVID don't exist, health regulations lifted for some. So if you're a PNM and you have a party to make money, no health regulation. But if there's poor people trying to enjoy yourself in Enterprise or in St. Paul Street or in Curep or in Samaru Village or Peytonville, police, guns, run down, busload to lock you up. But ministers and parliamentarians could fit and party without any protocol in Queen's Hall awake. No police here run down. No busload to pick up Keith Scotland and them in awake. Eh? Everybody jump out pod me no pod. No separation, no mask, alcohol flowing, no COVID-19. For them, no police, no busload, no charges. But charges for others. That's the country you're living now. And you know I know the police say that. But my poor black people, all you vote for that with your eye open, eh? When I tell all you rowdy don't like black people, all you thought is joke I making. When I tell you rowdy don't like poor people, all you thought is joke I making. All you say them Indian, Kamala don't like what? Kamala don't like what? Kamala love everybody, especially poor, especially single mothers, especially children. Look at she policy, look where she put she money. But what all you want me say? All you went and vote for that? They tell all your Indian giving banana. Vote for that. So you didn't take the banana, you get jail. Bread and water. Very good. Keep thinking race and not opening all your brain and thinking. But let me get back to this now. I digress. Kazem Ali Jr., dead. Yusuf Henry, dead. Faisal Kurban, dead. Rishi Nagasa, dead. Christopher Boudram survived, but has to live the rest of his life without his 4 teammates, his 4 brothers, his 4 soldiers, his 4 brethren. Well, let me read for you. Christopher Boudram. This is taken from the Express. A very in-depth article by Carolyn Kissoon and Richard Charan. Christopher Boudram lived because he was the last man to be pulled into the darkness of the undersea pipeline. And also because rescuers, disregarding orders from officials, inverted commas, to stay away from the site, went down to get him. What Boudram endured, what he heard, before he made it out 3 hours later, his family now fears for his mental health. Boudram spent those hours dragging himself along inside the crude oil coated 36-inch wide pipeline, pushed along by one of the men. That man who pushed him along and helped him make it out did not make it. From his hospital bed, Boudram told relatives, as they tried to stay alive in the toxic air pockets at the top of the flooded pipeline, he called on the others to pray to God and that Jesus would be their savior. The last thing he heard before he got out were their screams. Boudram, 36, is a father of 3 living at Isaac Street, Pointe-a-Pierre. He's been a diver for more than 10 years. His brother Larry told the Express last evening, Christopher is in stable condition now. He had no broken bones or fractures. Our concern is how long he spent down there and the toxic air he breathed in and how it may affect his lungs years from now. Of greatest concern, Larry Boudram said, was his brother's mental health. He communicated with the other divers under there in the darkness. He knows one was right behind him. He has been asking us if they came out, if they lived, if everybody got out. We have been limiting that information because every time he thinks about it, he is breaking down. From what Boudram has shared with the family sometime between 2:30 and 3 p.m. on Friday, he was inside the dry habitat about 25 feet underwater at berth 6 of Parias Trading Company Limited's Point-a-Pier facility, completing the repair job on a flange of the pipeline when it happened. There was a sudden rush of water into the area that they were operating, sucking them into the pipeline along with their scuba tanks and the other gear. What happened is called a Delta P event, where water from one area rushes in to fill another. The pressure difference draws divers in and makes escape almost impossible. Boudram was the last to be sucked in. How far he went into the pipeline with the other men, he does not know. He told his brother that the men, some of whom were seriously injured by the force of the suction, were alive in the darkness of the pipeline, and that they breathed from air pockets and shared air from the oxygen tanks to stay alive, while banging on the inside of the pipe to attract attention. According to his brother, Christopher asked the people with him to pray to Jesus and that we will come out, that everybody, all of us will get out. And those men were praying out aloud. The man who helped him get back, the man who pushed him through, the man who shared his oxygen with him that he caught the tank, the man who helped Boudram survive was the dive team leader Faisal Kurban, 57, who is also his relative. Kurban is still missing. Well, when this was written, we now hear that they have gotten the bodies of 3 of the 4 men. The Express was told that Kurban shared his oxygen with Boudram and kept pushing him along the pipeline towards the hole into which they were sucked. When Christopher came out into the habitat, there was nobody behind him. But he knew someone was close. He was hearing the screaming and the gasping for air, the brother said. He was hearing others close by. Meanwhile, on the surface, when the teammates realized that the men were in trouble, a distress call went out. Oilfield service boats in the vicinity began converging on both berth 6. The Express was told that there were divers with the equipment to do a rescue, but they were prevented from going into the water by safety officers on site. Among those who came to the location was Kurban's son, Nicholas, who contacted Ronald Ramuta, the brother-in-law of Kurban. Ramuta, a certified diver, was the first to enter the water off Point-a-Pier in search of the men on Friday. Ramuta said he received a distress call from his nephew, Nicholas Kurban, that his father appeared to be trapped inside a pipeline along with 4 others. I work with him as a diver with a company in Port of Spain, and I was on my way home when we called on Friday. I arrived at Point-a-Pier at 5:30 p.m. and found my nephew there. I prepared myself along with another person, Corey. We were about to go into the water when officials from Paria came and stopped us. They said we were not to enter the water. I looked at my nephew and Corey. Disregarded that order, I dived into the water in search of them, he said. Ramuta said he spotted a man covered in a thick oil slick attempting to get to the surface. Boudram had already dragged himself out of the pipeline and was struggling to get out and up to the surface. The oil was so thick he could not see anything. We managed to get him to the habitat and gave him a tank. He shouted that Faisal was right behind him and we should go back for him. That was Boudram shouting, giving intel, giving information to the rescuers so that some attempts could be made. We went back in, but we did not see anyone else. We found Faisal's tank and it was empty, he said. In a telephone interview with the Express, Ramuta said they returned to the surface with Boudram, who appeared to be shaken by the ordeal. He had been underwater since 2:30 p.m., knocking the pipeline and calling for help for all those hours. Christopher said, "We have to go back for Faisal. We were gearing up to dive again when Paria officials came again and stopped us. This time they instructed the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard to block us from entering. The officers were armed and we had to follow instructions. But they could have saved those men right then," he said. Boudram told the men that the others What happened with my phone there? Yeah, it just jumped. Sorry. Boudram told the men that the others suffered injuries, possibly broken limbs, when they were sucked in. He said he was the last to go in, and he did not have a lot of injuries, but he knew the others were badly hurt. But they were alive when he was there. They were screaming for help. And we told the people outside we were hearing them, but nobody went in. Ramuta said by 7 p.m. on Friday, a fully equipped dive team arrived at the site ready to go into the water. Paria again said we needed a permit to dive. And since then, we have been waiting. I cannot understand why that could not have been waived, since this was an emergency and lives were on the line. Ramuta said 48 hours later, the management of Paria was preparing to commence a recovery operation on Sunday night. We had all of the equipment, the experienced divers, and all the precautions were taken. We could have gone down there on Friday night and rescued those men. This is outrageous, he said. Boudram's brother Larry agreed that Friday night rescue attempt could have given the missing men a chance at life. I am a diver also, and I could think of 10 different ways we could have saved lives. Send an airline in, send a diver in with a tether and communications and air. Leave spare tanks so they could breathe. Instead, they left these men and turned everyone away. Christopher Boudram is being treated at the San Fernando General Hospital. Doctors have assessed that he does not need to be treated in a bariatric chamber, but his respiratory system needs to be closely monitored. 218
left to die.
7762. 218 7762. But Stuart Young come today to tell people gaps in Paria's handling of the diving incident. There are gaps in your heart, Stuart Young. Gaps in your brain, Stuart Young. Gaps in your patriotism, Stuart Young. Gaps in your humanity, Stuart Young. Hello, good evening.
This is so sad. I can't imagine. I don't even know how. I mean, I'm not being these people for just the mere fact of that. I don't even know how to say. Some people really disgusting, you know. really disgusting. You need to sign a paper, sign an authorization when lives are on the line. You telling me? What madness is this?
Really sad, boy. Wow. That is a wicked thing. Good evening.
Good night, Mr. Robert. Good night. That's what they call human sacrifice. They have to sue the fuel company, the family, all the family that lost their loved ones. Have to sue them now for millions of dollars. That's what they have to do. They come here, shut down this country and sue them. Have a good night.
Good evening.
Good evening, Anil. Good evening to Koki and to everybody out there. Anil, I want to offer my condolences to the families of those divers, their friends, their families, and everybody. You reading that, Anil, and it is heartbreaking to see what it is those men went through. You understand? That, in my opinion, could have been avoided. And Newman George was playing golf on Sunday when he should have been organizing some search and rescue or something. Somebody they fell down on the job. You understand? They fell down. And I want to know now. Stuart Young came with graphs and whatever. A set of nonsense. You understand? I want to see how they're going to cover this. You understand? After you reading that newspaper article, how are they coming out alive? And you know what is distasteful, Anil? They say now when they tested the man, he was tested positive for COVID. Did he get COVID in the pipe? Because a friend of mine told me that they were tested before they went for the dive, and they were tested negative. So where did they get it? You see, we don't see a cover-up taking place, but you know what? We're not taking it so. Anil, thanks a lot and have a good evening.
Thank you. And I am reading an article here from Denise Deming, who's an expert in communications, who's an expert, master's and doctorate in communications, crisis management, planning, strategy, corporate strategy, and so on. Yes. And I must also say, she's a PNM. She was the chairperson of the TDC when it was TDC, the Tourism Development Company, before they changed it into two different things or whatever. She resigned, but she never let us know why she resigned. I know why, but I'll wait for her to say. But she's an expert in communication. And when you have people like Rhoda Barrett, who's coming out to discuss and attack another citizen, who is basically saying that the communication strategy employed by Paria, the government, the ministers, and by the way, where's the Prime Minister? Where's Keith Rowley? And the Guardian and some of y'all were saying Kamla Prasad Bisesa didn't go to the Monday night virtual on Monday. Never mind, we had 4 MPs and 5 ministers and a senator and 3 councillors. But y'all were interested that Kamla wasn't there.
Yes.
As if she have to be at every Monday night virtual. But she was press conference, she was parliament, she was all over. She was in Siparia doing, getting hampers and so on. But it's all right. All you find, all you miss Kamla Monday.
Yes.
Kamla not in charge of nothing. Kamla had no control over no money. Kamla not in charge of no policy. She can't appoint no board for Paria. She can't treat people with love and care in Paria. Kamla couldn't do nothing to help the divers in Paria. The fellas who went down. Kamla had no power to do nothing because in our Westminster system, first past the post, the Prime Minister controls all the money. $60 billion. Have the debt to GDP ratio up to 100%. Creates all the board, all the chairman, all the appointments. Controls the cabinet, controls everything. Controls the parliament, controls the speaker, controls the president of the Senate. The PNM Rowley controls everything. We can't see Rowley at all. But are you interested that Kamla miss a meeting Monday? A political meeting?
Yes.
Really? But all you want to know where Rowley is? Where the hell is Rowley?
Wow.
But anyway, Denise Deming is an expert And I see an article February 28, 2022 by Denise Deming. She says, let me begin by addressing myself directly to the families of the divers whose lives were snuffed out in the Paria incident. Those of us who have lost family members and friends understand your pain. So we hope that eventually you will remember those who were lost more with joy than with sorrow. On the Paria Fuel Trading Company website, you can find these words. We are looking for the right people with the talent and the drive to deliver quality every day. Well, says Denise Deming, Paria, it looks like you found the wrong person to fill the post of communications lead. More than 24 hours after a tragedy struck, there was no formal response about the fatalities which occurred under your watch. Your organization chart suggests the communications lead is a loner with no support or anyone reporting upwards. It is shameful that yet another state company has been caught with no communications, no crisis plan. A newspaper editorial is inspired to comment on the apparent absence of protocols and plans for handling a crisis. I wonder if there be any accountability for this tragedy. I wonder if the CEO will be held accountable and what plan will be engaged to prevent a recurrence. I wonder if there will be even a report released about what happened and what plans are now in place to prevent it from happening. My first exposure to the concept of crisis communications occurred when I joined Texaco in 1979, and the exposure continued at its successor companies until 1989. When 14 people died in the explosion at Pointe-a-Pierre in 1985, I, meaning Denise Deming, was called to report for duty. And within 24 hours, my colleague and I were driving to Port of Spain with news releases to be delivered to the then existing media. 2 newspapers, 1 television station, and 2 radio stations. The world has evolved significantly since then. And nowadays, people can simultaneously issue news releases to our multiple newspapers, radio and television stations, as well as social media outlets without leaving their chairs. The last news release on Paria's website is dated 27th April 2021. Communications professionals are fully aware of the importance of activating the communication crisis plan immediately upon being advised of a crisis. They know the importance of a quick, transparent response. They know that a dedicated spokesperson must be trained and holding prepared statements just waiting to be edited and released. These are the fundamental activities to be launched when a crisis occurs. It is neither rocket science nor groundbreaking technology. It is basic. The fundamentals remain the same. Plan ahead, respond quickly, be transparent in your engagement. Our state companies and leaders in the government continue to fumble and embarrass us with the lack of knowledge of the basics. I am convinced that the challenges faced by the state organizations begin in the selection process. I remind you, this is Denise Deming, a PNM supporter, a former chairperson of a PNM tourism board, and an expert in communication. So to Miss News Source, Rhoda Barrett, while you seem to want to attack anybody who disagrees with you because you are an expert on everything, but yet you are a crisis manager, and you cannot see as plainly as Denise Deming, who is a true professional and a true expert from since 1979, that this epitomized stupidity, nonsense, and everything that went on in this communications process by Paria was basically horrendous, incompetent, useless, and created more questions and pain that was necessary. So Denise Deming says that the problem begins with the selection process. And I put it to you that I agree with her. It begins with the selection of a prime minister who selects his cabinet, who selects the chairperson of each board, and who puts his friends and family regardless of qualification. When the UNC brought up that this man, Newman George, knew nothing about oil and gas sector, and that A.A. Kwamina at Heritage, Rowley's personal attorney, knew nothing about the energy sector, all of you mass media just let it go because Rowley could do what he wants. But when tragedy strikes and we are embarrassed in every sector, in every state agency, in every ministry, we are embarrassed internationally, we are embarrassed by the Coast Guard, we are embarrassed by the lack of transparency, we are embarrassed in our policy, we are embarrassed in foreign policy, we are embarrassed at Paria when we do not even care about some citizens' lives and their families. Denise Deming says it begins with the selection process. How are these people hired, says Denise Deming. What kind of screening do they go through? In the private sector, many jobs require a university degree as a prerequisite. Shouldn't those handling public funds and other resources be equally well or better qualified? Ekon Van Gel Dial Singh. Trinidad and Tobago is facing a crisis of leadership at all levels, and we have tainted every process with our politics. Unless there's fundamental redesign of our systems, processes, and procedures, tragedy will continue to befall us. We have the talent, but we seem to lack the political will to do what is right every time. Hopefully our leaders will learn from this Paria tragedy. Well, Ms. Deming, I agree with you, and I hope that you have learned from this tragedy. And I hope that you have learned from this period of Keith Rowley's leadership. I hope you have learned because you helped put him there, ma'am. With all due respect, I love how you talk there now. But you created Keith Rowley. You helped put Keith Rowley. You defended Keith Rowley. You attacked me, you attacked the UNC. And you didn't apologize yet, but that's okay. I forget about that. But you make sense now. But you take no responsibility for not seeing that Keith Rowley was who he is. For not seeing that a leader will appoint people just like himself in a mirror image. And that's why our country is full of leaders with no compassion, no empathy, no heart, no intellect, no creativity. You were part and parcel of that, my lady. So while I respect your intelligence, your qualifications, and your brilliance, you cannot escape responsibility for putting us where we are. Because Keith Rowley and his cabinet is the worst government in the history of Trinidad and Tobago. And you will know that better than anyone else. They govern just like Keith Christopher Rowley. You should have known that Keith Christopher Rowley was the low character gentleman that he is. That he is dishonest beyond words. That he is pathological. That his only intent is to procure without procurement. You should have known before you assisted him for whatever reason to become prime minister. So when you see tragedy now and you see it across all levels of leadership in the government, the state boards, you must also realize that you, madam, didn't tell us why you resigned as chairman of the TDC or the tourism company, whatever name it was called. You didn't tell us. Had you told us, had you told the nation what was going on, what were they trying to make you do that made you resign from your position where you could impact the diversification of this economy, where a brilliant, intelligent woman like yourself could have guided this country going forward with concepts and ideas to move us away from oil and gas and create different revenue streams. You resigned and you kept quiet. So while I hear you, I read you, I agree with you, something is missing, Madam Denise Deming. And I hope that you will fill those gaps. Because just like Stuart Young said, there's gaps in Paria. My lady, there are gaps in what you are telling Anil. Because while you may not be a UNC, you may not like UNC, or you may think UNC is not your cup of tea, I put it to you that overall, mano, womano, The UNC has higher intellectual capital, more qualified people in every sphere across the board, in every ministry, across every board position. The UNC under Kamala put one human being in charge of one board. Noel Garcia sits in charge of $5 billion of taxpayers' money. Do you agree with that? Are there no competent people who can ensure that houses are built? While simultaneously Noel Garcia builds hospitals, health centers, sports stadia, Red House, President's House, Prime Minister's residence in Tobago, fire stations, community centers, police stations. He builds everything. So we had nobody. But you didn't write on that. In fact, you were part and parcel of that until you resigned. So please, I look forward to reading why did you resign? What was the PNM trying to make you do that you did not want to do? That you felt so strongly about that you had to leave an important position that you could have helped Trinidad and Tobago. You could have helped our country. You could have helped all of those facilities that I built with the taxpayers' money for sport tourism. You could have created and maneuvered because the current people don't understand that. You could have done that, making Trinidad and Tobago the hub for sport and diversifying the economy, but you resigned and went silent, madam. So while I agree with all that you say, with your expert knowledge, Madam Denise Deming, your story has gaps. And I put it to you that those gaps exist because of your politics. So while criticizing us all about politics, when you're at home, just look in the mirror and write another article for Anil to read it out. I promise you, I will read it out. Why did you resign as chairperson of the Tourism Authority? Why? Tell us. 218.
What if she resigned because she wanted to do these things that they didn't want her to do?
Well, I don't know, and I'm not going to him somebody. I want to tell me.
Right.
I want to tell me. Yeah. Because she's highly qualified for the position. She would have done a great job. Why did she leave? And not only her, Dr. Terence Farrell and all these other people who resigned and went. All the good people who resign and go. All the former CEO, right, of tourism who resigned and went. Camille Campbell, all of them who put under pressure by the PNM because everybody knows the truth. Rowley and his cohorts are the recusal government of the history of the Caribbean, and they want things done in their way for their friends, family, and financiers. And if you're like Denise Deming and you want to do it properly, give people a fair shake, have transparency, accountability, and tender process, Denise Deming is not of that. But my lady, you resigned and you said nothing. You left us without information. So we finger for stupidity. So while I agree with you, we are in this position partly because of you, my lady. 218-7762. Hello. Good evening. Hello.
Yes, Corky, this is Fox here.
Yes, Fox. How are you going?
Yes. Condolences to those families that lost their loved ones. Let me tell you also something. For this country to get back together again, the PNM have to go. We could say what we want. We could have our investigation. He has everybody in his hands. They have to go. You don't have no other way than they have to go. These people who lost their life here with Korea, right? They could have been allegedly fights for Rowley and them, right? You can't take nothing past these fellas. It hurt me. It hurting me right now because it could have been me. It could have been somebody else for me, right? Boy, I don't have no more words to say with that. Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. 218-7762. Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Cascade here again.
How are you going?
This man that went and rescued this man down in the pipe, we have to secure him, He and the survivor. We have to
secure them, because those are our witnesses, We have to take care of these people to send a message to Rowley and Young that we have evidence to certify that is lack of negligence. And you see the Coast Guard, I hold them responsible too. I hold all you responsible too, because all you're supposed to have frogmen to go down there. The Coast Guard have frogmen, divers, Why it was them going down in that hole too, to see.
Thank you, my brother. Well, I could tell you from first hand. First hand. Back in 2003, 2004, they called me to go and do some little swimming session with the Coast Guard. And out of about 40-something of them, 21 of them couldn't swim. So all they don't tell me, I know how them reaching the... I say, but all they reaching the Coast Guard. I walk up there and say, they don't waste my time now. I have Olympic athletes a coach. Time, I come to the Coast Guard and all they can't swim. Look, man, good evening. Not me now.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, good day.
Yes.
Turn down the volume on your radio, please. Thanks.
All right, I'll call back.
Call back. Yeah, it's too loud.
It's far away from you.
What is the reason why they didn't want nobody to go down to help these guys?
Your question is as good as mine. They just lack leadership because they're probably afraid that something else might happen. But boy, when you're making hard decisions, you have to take risk.
Yes.
You have to take risk and benefit analysis. You understand?
Yes.
And
you're hearing your radio in the background. Yeah.
Hello, turn down your radio in the background. Good evening.
Hello?
Yeah, turn down your radio in the background or else you'll get confused. Because there's a delay on that, so you wouldn't hear me. You have to listen to me carefully.
I gotta move from that one.
Yeah, turn it down. You will listen to me on the phone so we could talk real time. That radio have a delay.
Yes, sir, you hear me?
Yes, hearing you good.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes, hearing you good.
Yeah, how are you going? Good?
No, I ain't going good now. The place have a darkness over it. Me I know if it from Lake Oto. Me I know where it from now.
Well, this is a Tobago call.
How you going, my brother? Talk to
So
me.
we have it over here also. They're not calling to say about the speaker at the house, right? This are the Robert?
Yes.
The speaker at the house, who voted for she? Since last week I was trying to call, and I thank God I get through tonight. Who voted for she?
Nobody.
Nobody? No. Why you getting she talking to you like a child?
Yeah, well, the PNM, the system we have, the PNM appoint them so they just feel they could talk to we how they want.
The PNM appoint them?
Yes.
Yeah, the PNM appoint them.
Because they have the majority, yes.
Yeah, but people have voted for she.
Correct.
Last week I hear she talking to you. I said, I like you. I would have tell you it is and walk out of her because she can't cut your ass and they can't fire you.
You're right. But
she only gets all of them under his foot. Attempt for them to stand up against you. You hear me, sir?
Yes, I'm listening carefully, sir.
She only gets all of them under his foot. And look what going in the barrier. He ain't got nowhere to give nobody no sympathy. A lot of things happening in Trinidad and that man don't even turn up. But he has been to Tobago in Mason Hall. In like it too. In a Saboy Jumbie.
Yes, that's what I feel. He make a deal with the Jumbie. Let me hear from from your wife there now. Let me tell her come and let me hear what she have to say too. I like to hear.
She'll come on just now.
Yes.
She'll come on just now.
Yes. I hearing you. Come and talk to me. Tell me.
Boy, I don't know what to man. The man and the Minister of Health. But I don't know what they throw them in the sea and sink them, you know.
I
don't think when I choose that and the man not even showing the face. But you want to come in Tobago to tell the Chief Secretary of Tobago what to do. We are working in Tobago, you know. We don't want him nowhere in Tobago.
But all your boys at Tobago there and all you pelt him out, all you dig up his naval string and pelt it out in the sea.
But about he could stay out in Tobago and live in the sea. Because it destroying the place. It destroying the country of Trinidad, and he will sell out Trinidad because he hearing to sell out Trinidad. And the Minister of Finance,
all of them wicked. All of them wicked, but I want Canada get 2 seats. Send 2 people in Tobago for the general election. And I know she gonna win in Tobago. I know she gonna win. Alright, hold on.
Yes, let me hear the wife. Let me hear the real boss there now.
Right.
Hello, good evening.
What do you want me on the radio for?
But
You
I
want to say something?
Yes, I hear it in the background. You're singing good, girl. So they ain't want your boy talk at all. You know, all the time for the years, the speaker and the president has allowed the opposition to talk because it's 15 against 6. Them afraid the 6 away, you know. It's 15 of them, plus it have about 9 independent, about 5 of them is PNM. So it's about 21 versus 6, you know. It's only Wade, Mark, Jolinjan, Naked, Jayanti, Lida, and myself, you know. And them PNM
Wait, so go down to 6 now?
Yeah, all we have up in the Senate is 6. But
what else gone?
And the lady don't want me talk, so you get vexed when you find she pelt me out.
Oh, so that is why they're saying Camilla weak, because they're weak in the opposition.
Ah, and they stop it.
That is why they're saying she's weak.
Yeah, they
because
like to
they
touch
know what they're
chickeness.
doing, because they don't want no opposition in this country.
Exactly.
They don't have their way already, because they don't weaken shit. So they just want all this stuff to run out, and they know what they're going to try to do.
But we ain't gonna run out, girl. We have strength. You give me strength.
But listen to me.
I'm listening.
I don't know how them Indians gone in them in that party, and you understand that the amount of things this man doing his own people, and them sit down and watching that and taking that. I can't understand that.
Well,
regardless, you want to say, okay, you're fighting race and you're fighting race. You're fighting race, right? You're supposed to be the race.
Correct.
And you're supposed to say, well, you see, that me and taking that what he doing by people, boy.
So
You
Rowley's
understand?
supposed to
And
help the black
them,
people.
if you
Correct.
stand up for the black, stand up for the Indian them too. You go on the black standing up for Indian. You go on the black side standing up for the black side, and you're leaving the people them alone. People are people. We like everybody. Me had no problem with the Indian and them. They never see anything.
Correct.
And we could get a thing or two from them, because when Camilla was in power, she did a lot of things for the 5 years I was working at that time. I received 2 back pay from her, and the 1, they end up having a little mixture and they vote you out. All I used to tell people on in work, don't, or let's go vote to pay them, vote to the lady. We have a next back pay to come. Or it's wild Indian, or afraid money, and who used to cost me and say, effing.
Thank you, my dear. We go talk. Oh God, all too sweet. Yes, but it's good to hear from the elders, from the wise. And that is real. Why are we get race in Trinidad and Tobago? All are we is Trinbagonian. There's no race. Look, all the black people vote for Rowley and you get nothing. And you can't even have a zest, you get locked up. While the rich people and the pinks fetting down in Queen's Hall, fetting all over in Aqua, fetting down the place, no police. All you try a little zest, have a little powder. Enterprise, lock up. Samaru Village, lock up. Peytonville, lock up. Q-Rep, lock up. All the black people in St. Paul Street, lock up. And let the white people, let the rich people balance it. Good. All you go and vote race. Good evening.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening.
A very sad case, what they took. Very, very. But in any case, the question, they have to be responsible for the family, because the fact that they was working for them. Right? So this is what I feel that about that's where their right start. Thank you.
Thank you. 218-7762. Good evening.
Good evening, Anil and Corky.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, well, you say you didn't hear from the Prime Minister, but I understand he issued a release 7 o'clock. Apparently, he working for the Express and the Guardian obituary section, announcing the death of the foreman, and he said he's sorry. So that is all his statement had.
So he now talk here? He now
talking after all the days these people missing.
He now come out and put a press release to say sorry, the people dead.
He said people dead.
Okay, tell him
And
that.
he's sorry.
Yeah.
Alright, and the gap where the minister was talking about is the gap between the 2 years, eh? Don't forget that.
Yes, empty space. Thank you, my brother. So, Keith Rowley has surfaced with a press release. Express Guardian, Newsday, TV6, CNC3, a Prime Minister missing. All you care about that? All you want to write story about Kamala in a Monday night virtual? Look, all you really good, yes? Good evening.
Good evening. Inside again by Anal. There is Sahina.
Talk to me, Sahina.
Listen to this one, eh? And you brighter than me, and you go explain to me.
Me? I'm not brighter than you. I want to learn from you.
Somebody capped the line, right?
Yes.
They say it might be a piper, not the one that smoke, right?
Right.
Who gave that instructions? But I go answer that just now. When that decision was made to cap the lines, was any physical checks done or noise check to see if the people was alive? Or was it ignorantly? Because if the people was alive and they was whispering to everybody, Rowley must go, and they didn't want to get outside, then I could draw a conclusion that is a state sanction execution by drowning. I'd say no more. Now, where that order could have come from? Could it could have come from a golf course? I'm saying no more. Go on, Anil. Nice.
Blessings. 218-7762. I don't know what to tell you. Condolences to the families Kazem Ali Jr., Yusuf Henry, Faisal Kurban, and Rishi Nagasar. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Robert.
Good evening.
Good evening to your co-host. I know we're talking serious business here, but I want you to help with this question. Sonny Ramadan will ever play for Trinidad before he play for West Indies?
Oh, good. That is a difficult question.
Well, I'm never going to research it and let me know.
I will have to research that. I'll have to call. If my Joey Carew was alive, I would have called he one time. Sahina, you will know that. Did Sonny Ramadan play for Trinidad and Tobago before he played for the West Indies? I know he and Valentine match up for the West Indies, but that's a very good question. Hello, good evening.
Anil,
Yes.
you know who is the man for long in that job? You see the safety man? The safety man is the man who fall long on that job. The safety man supposed to go down and get all the clearance and everything safety for them men him to go down there. How come you is telling me a pipe that lie down on the surface of the sea that a man could fall down in it? A pipe that lie down in the floor of the sea, how a man could fall down in it, Daniel?
All right. Thank you, my brother. Yeah, well, we have to get all the information because there are many questions. But all I can tell you at this stage is that Paria, the communications from the Minister of Energy come down, the treatment of the family, the lack of crisis communication management, the lack of information, the ill treatment of the media and the disrespect of the media, the family, and the population is just unbearable.
Good night.
Good evening.
Night. And then the first thing I want to know, if there was a safety man on the job.
If there was a safety man on the job, you're breaking up a bit. Yeah, they're supposed to have a safety man on the job, yes, of course. But you see, that's why we want an independent investigation to find out exactly what took place. All right, because no set of guessing. What we are talking about here is just facts that we know.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Piper have to tell me why he capped the line. Why? When men was telling him that they just pull out a man and there are others right behind him. Good evening.
Let me answer a question. Sonny Robinson played 3 times for Trinidad before he played in the West Indies.
Thank you. I know you would know that. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, my brother. 3 times for Trinidad before he played for the West Indies.
Let me answer another question for you.
Yes.
The chief and the most important safety officer in any organization is the CEO.
Correct.
You have safety officers thing, but if you really have a good organization's chart, is a horizontal connection, not a top-down connection. If you have, ask this fella, Riley, go tell you about that. Riley was the global safety person, health for the global BP. You understand?
Yes, but
and
he turned safety for PNM bag.
No. Say all go. He went with the bag too.
Oh, he went to the bag too?
Right, because remember he started by with Espine?
Yes.
Okay, and the other thing about, all you have to do, small print the figure bright, you know. The gaps are for failures. That is what the gap is. Failures in the system. Say failure for everybody go understand. I don't tell the gaps. I go on.
Blessings. Daniel Sandina, thank you, my brother. He played for Trinidad from 1950 to 1953. He played 3 times for Trinidad. Sahina, thank you. Last call, then we take a short break and we'll be back. Good evening.
Good evening, Arnold.
Good evening.
Condolences to the family and the friends of the victims in that pipeline. My question is, they said the Coast Guard was present for a rescue mission. But I understand the Coast Guard don't have equipment for those kind of rescue missions. So I don't know why the line to the people and said the Coast Guard was there also in the rescue. They didn't even touch the water.
But thank you, my brother. That's what I want to know. I want to know what the Coast Guard was doing there. What the Coast Guard know about specific commercial industrial diving. Do they have commercially trained certified divers that go down and do that type of work? This is a specific, highly paid, highly trained, highly expert field. You just are Coast Guard. We Coast Guard just the other day didn't know how to intercept or turn around a boatload of 37 human beings without gun. All you're coming now to tell me, you are pariah, you in oil and gas, you have underwater line, and you have the experts for decades, and you asking the Coast Guard what to do? That mean you have no plan, you have no contingency plan, you had no safety plan, you had no backup plan, you had no divers on reserve who know what they're doing, who know how to go down, who know where the pipes are, who know where the access is. What the Coast Guard know about that? Them couldn't even tie up their own vessel when a swell come. You come to tell me, as pariah management, that you was listening to the coast, you was waiting for advice of the Coast Guard. Why you didn't go and call the doubles man and ask him what to do? Cocky, let me run some ad before I cuss, yes?
Don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.
Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock. Bed and breakfast rates available. To book, call 283-2597 or 463-2946. Le Grand Coulon Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock.
Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Opening hours.
Saturday 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Sundays 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. When you think about fresh produce and good quality food, come to Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Eddie's Pharmacy Limited, we have a selection of all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs to complement your wellness. Every product we carry is vetted and approved by our pharmacists who will be happy to assist you. With branches at C3 Mall inside JTA Supermarket, 1135 SS Erin Road in Pinal, and 54 Rocha Douglas Road in Barrackpore. We offer services such as blood pressure testing, blood sugar testing, cholesterol testing, and also offer a wide variety of pregnancy test kits. We accept most major health insurances. For further information, contact Eddie's Pharmacy at any of our 3 branches. C3 Mall, contact number 228-4990, 54 Rocha Douglas Road in Barrackpore at 654-2655. Or SS Erin Road in Pinal, 647-0778, Eddie's Pharmacy Limited.
Come to the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. Great ambience, fantastic prices, all COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available. Call Waves at 731-4646 to make your reservation. Come dine with the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. You must be vaccinated to dine in.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 975 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
Island Hobbies, Ryson Road, Port of Spain, has the largest variety of toys in the Caribbean and South America. No one can beat our prices. If you see it cheaper anywhere else, prove it and we will beat it. Island Hobbies, Ryson Road, Port of Spain.
What goes in is a local something that makes it all taste better. It's the flavor of our culture. Come from here, come from there, and everywhere. It's the special flavor that's made us savor at the Royal Castle. Oh, come the Royal Castle. Royal Castle. Flavor to the bone. Royal Castle. Taste the very own. Royal Castle is the local something that makes it all taste better. Taste the unique flavor of our culture at Royal Castle.
U975 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio and Multicultural Television MCTV, bringing you back where you belong. Part of the Rhythms Communications Network. To advertise with us, call 218-7820.
Yes, and welcome back inside. Let us see. Since you're Prime Minister, the Prime Minister of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, the incident occurred with citizens' lives at risk Friday 2:30 to 3 p.m. You heard nothing from him as the entire nation held its collective breath as the story became public around 4 p.m. on Friday. Into 8 p.m., the entire nation was aware and hoping and praying. Into midnight at 11:30, the equipment that Parias said had arrived since the afternoon, they were sneaking it in as parents and family members and well-wishers and media personalities were there, and we saw video footage of the equipment coming in. Into Saturday morning, all of Saturday, police was sent to disrupt the unions from picketing a peaceful picket with a trade dispute. The police was sent there to break it up, while in parts of Trinidad, West Trinidad, in the constituency of Keith Rowley, in the water park of Keith Rowley's greatest friend, who he wanted to be the chairman of the PNM, in the water park down there that they're paying limited peppercorn rent because of the PNM, there was a festivity that breached every protocol known to COVID-19 pandemic health regulations in Trinidad and Tobago. No police was sent, no busloads to arrest anyone, no charges laid, no houses of Tony Chowlin, the PNM organizer of the fete down in the Aqua Park, Aqua. No search of his home because he's a PNM and he was operating in a PNM water park, and the PNM say that they control the PNM police. So the police was sent to harass labor union leaders and family members who wanted information, on what was happening with our citizens. And the police was sent there, 6-7 vehicles, to harass peaceful picketers in a trade dispute who wanted information on the lives of workers. But no police was sent down into the Aqua Park in Chagaramas in Rowley constituency because his Rowley PNM friend Tony Chowlinon was throwing the party in Rahal Water Park. Very interesting, if you're all happy with that. If all you who get harassed by police in St. Paul Street, in Peytonville Arima, in Summerview Village Arima, in Enterprise Chaguanas, and in Curep, all you who police come with big gun and throw all you out because all you having a party. How come the police didn't go down in Chagaramas, in Rahal Water Park, with Tony Chowlin and Fed, with a set of madness, no mask, over 2,000 people, all in one spot, jumping up, a set of man splashing down voice, as if voice want man to splash them now. Me I know where the men come out, jump out in the front, voice nearly had to run, yes, a set of man splashing him. But no police, no mask, more than 10 people gathered. Oh, all regulation breach, but that's okay, them is PNM. Them is PNM, so them could do that. But police gone to harass on Saturday a peaceful picket down by Petro train where no information was forthcoming. Silence, secrecy, lies, cover up. And some men were fighting for their lives as family members were treated like dog, kept out in a bus shed and galvanized hot sun. Not even a water barrier sent for them. And where was Keith Rowley? As the night turned, Saturday night into Sunday morning, where was Keith Rowley Sunday lunchtime? Where was Keith Rowley Sunday 8 o'clock, where Paria, his good friend, who was playing golf in Tobago, come across to tell we the men dead? After not telling the parents or the family members anything, they had to find out that Paria determined that their children and loved ones dead through the TV. TTT had to turn off the comments as Monday morning Stuart Smallpin Young decided to open me big stupid mouth, and TTT had to switch off the comments, but CNC3 did not. 500 comments telling Stuart Young, you heartless, disgusting liar, you dishonest fool, you talking nonsense. Gaps, 500 comments, go and see it. And CNC3 is not no bastion of UNC. That is a 70-30 PNM. That is what is there. Where was Rowley? Where was Rowley Friday? Where was Rowley Saturday? Where was Rowley Sunday? Where was Rowley all day until... Look what the clown come and write. Officer of the Prime. We don't even know if he write this. It is with great sadness, no capital to start the sentence. All your children who read in the Office of the Prime Minister Facebook, don't write that for your teachers, you will fail. It is with great sadness that we have just received confirmation that 4 citizens have lost their lives whilst on technical subsea duty at Paria facilities in the Gulf of Paria. Even as we prayed and hoped for a miracle, wait, we could pray and hope for a miracle. You in charge, you fool. You are the Prime Minister. You could put resources. You could issue instructions. You could get the technology. You could allow rescue. You was sitting down like we and praying. You big clown, Rowley. So what you have all the treasury for? What you have all the power for? What you have all the resources for? What you have all the appointment for? What you have all the power in your hand for? To remain like the rest of we and just pray? You have no shame, Rowley, you disgusting boy. Corky?
Yes.
26 years on radio, I never cuss, you know. Today might be the day. Or you listen out, it might
You
come.
have a gentleman on the line here.
Yes, Mr. Victor Roberts are coming there. Let me just read this before we go to a sensible gentleman, Victor Roberts, on the line. Let me just finish reading this fool called Keith Rowley.
Right.
Even as we prayed and hoped for a miracle, it was not to be. In this period of great loss and deep trauma for all the families and the national community, I extend sincerest condolences, to all their loved ones. I can't even read that. Where Victor Roberts, I can't even read that. And I might nearly cuss on you 97.5. Let me don't read that. No, let me don't read that. Victor Roberts.
Blessing, good night, each
Good
and
evening,
everyone.
my brother. Good evening.
Good day, my brother.
I want your cost, so let me just simmer it down a little bit
You
here.
simmer me down there, but
In relation to Sonny Ramadan, he did play for Trinidad in 1950 to 1953.
Right.
His first match was against Jamaica, Trinidad versus Jamaica. That was in 1950. Then he also, in 1951, he was also the Cricketer of the Year. He played 43 tests. He took some 158 wickets and he averaged about 28.98. So he did perform for this country before he went on to
the West Indies.
Right. So be that as it may, I just have the caller that asked the question before.
Correct. Now, tell me something. Did you ever see him bowl?
No.
Right.
Never see him bowl.
Neither me. I read the book, I hear the calypso, I see little black and white footage, but I never saw him actually play.
Yeah, I myself.
Go ahead, next topic.
Right, so I want to, first of all, send out condolences to the families of that tragic incident in Pointe-à-Pierre. Of course, I was there on Sunday. Not Sunday, Saturday I was there.
Saturday you was there, yes.
Yeah,
For hours upon hours.
And what was sad is that there was no public relation. We went to the security and we asked certain pertinent questions in relation to getting somebody from the Health and Safety Department who would be able to share some information with the families. However, that was not forthcoming. A call was made, and what the security said to us is that the Public Relations Department gave an instruction that no information should be passed on to any family member or anyone in the public until such time. And we were in contact with a particular diver who was on a vessel outside. Matter of fact, that diver said to us that they were outside since the inception of things, and what we are learning is that the necessary apparatus in relation to the safety aspect of things, it was not there. And what had happened is that when difficulty came, those who were supposed to be there in terms of having the necessary lanyard line and so on to assist, the whole process breakdown and the supervisory process, that and all breakdown. Because what the diver was saying to us, the one who was out there, is that after one of his friends went down and retrieved one of the guys who was approximately some 50 or 60 feet inside the line, and he brought him to safety, he attempted to go back, and then some instruction came that he should not enter into the water. And then what he said is that the Coast Guard was also insisting that nobody goes into the water. And while they were saying that equipment and they were doing all that they can, actually Saturday night around 10:45 minutes to 11 is when we see trucks with equipment going in to render the assistance, which of course would have been too late, because the diver indicated to us that they pressured the tanks to about 250 psi, even though it have the capacity to take probably just over 400. But of course, the nature of the job, it's something that they are accustomed to, but a serious mishap happened. First, we were hearing that a pump was switched on by mistake. And you see, while we are saying we need a thorough investigation, when you have so many time passed and then you only have certain persons privy to information, what happens is when the cover-up takes place, the information that comes to the public domain, it will tell you that everything was in place in terms of safety. So we are asking what could have really happened if the company did the necessary risk assessment, if they had looked at all the the present danger that would be associated with that job. And anybody who do project management, they will tell you without a shadow of a doubt that there is a number of safety procedures that have to be not only on standby but have to be in place in order for a job of that magnitude to take place. And when we sit from the outside and we see what was taking place by equipment going into Paria, going in through Heritage Front Gate, equipment what should have been on site in case an emergency happened. And we need to ask the question, where somebody called earlier and said, well, where was the safety officer and so on. But any professional who do underwater welding, they will tell you that there is a number of safety equipment that needs to be on board standby in case some sort of difficulty happen, where you will be able to have the divers secure. At some point in time, they should have also been tied off. They should have also been tied off in case, based on the risk assessment, in case something should happen where they say valve pop and this happen and that happen. They should have been tied off, given enough leverage where they could have conduct the operations under the water, and if some emergency should have taken place as what take place, they would have been able to assist by reeling these guys up to surface. So there's a number of questions that need to be asked. There's a number of answers that need to come out. And I am saying that for too long we allow these petroleum companies, whether state-owned or otherwise, for severe accidents where people lost their lives. And what we do, we give a couple $100,000 and we call it off. But we need to have people, we need to have them held accountable, and people must face the brunt of the law for their negligence in any given situation.
Thank you, my brother. That is Mr. Victor Roberts, who was down there. One of the hardest working men. Big respect to Victor Roberts, passionate. And just 2 days before, I received a video of some children who needed some assistance and food. And Vishnu Kunkun and the douglAR politics team, they were organized some, along with Victor Roberts, some groceries and so on. And Victor went down there. I don't know who just put diesel or gas in that man van, but that man van is a four-wheel man. That is not no AD wagon. Big up to Mr. Victor Roberts. We're taking a short break. And when we come back, more of your calls in this tragedy. Rowley has been found. He said he was praying. Look, go quick before I cuss, Cocky. Run some out there, Cocky.
My parents' generation grew up with Royal Castle. From the first restaurant in 1968, when that distinctive, tempting aroma hit the air, they just couldn't resist. And like never before, fried chicken with a special blend of local seasonings and a one-of-a-kind flavor down to the bone. Today, Royal Castle still have that same delicious taste, and I love it too. The kids can't resist it either. Plus, they have more to enjoy. For me, the castle is more than just nice food. It's we own, part of me and you, and is the real flavor of TNT.
Come to the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. Great ambience, fantastic prices, all COVID protocols observed. Full premium bar available. Call Waves at 731-4646 to make your reservation. Come dine with the Waves Restaurant and Bar, Grafton Beach, Black Rock, Tobago. You must be vaccinated to dine in.
Island Hobbies, Ryson Road, Port of Spain, has the largest variety of toys in the Caribbean and South America. No one can beat our prices. If you see it cheaper anywhere else, prove it and we will beat it. Island Hobbies, Ryson Road, Port of Spain.
Eddie's Pharmacy Limited, we have a selection of all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs to complement your wellness. Every product we carry is vetted and approved by our pharmacists who will be happy to assist you. With branches at C3 Mall inside JTA Supermarket, 1135 SS Erin Road in Pinal, and 54 Rosha Douglas Road in Barrackpore. We offer services such as blood pressure testing, blood sugar testing, cholesterol testing, and also offer a wide variety of pregnancy test kits. We accept most major health insurances. For further information, contact Eddie's Pharmacy at any of our 3 branches. C3 Mall, contact number 228-4990, 54 Rosha Douglas Road in Barrackpore at 654-2655. Or SS Erin Road in Pinal, 647-0778, Eddie's Pharmacy Limited.
Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica.
Opening hours:
Saturday 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m.
Sundays 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. When you think about fresh produce and good quality food, come to Fresh Street Market, your neighborhood supermarket.
Number 3 Andrew Lane, corner Churchill Roosevelt Highway and Andrew Lane, Derby, Mousica. The Grand Coulant Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock. Bed and breakfast rates available. To book, call 283-2597 or 463-2946. The Grand Coulant Spa Resort at Stonehaven Bay, Blackrock.
douglAR Radio is now on U97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio, Monday to Friday, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. with Anil Roberts, bringing you the facts on politics and up-to-date information. Also taking your calls on 218-7762. douglAR Radio on U97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio, 6:15 p.m. to 9 p.m. Monday to Friday.
Get ready for the revolution. What you say now?
Sponsored by Royal Castle.
And welcome back to douglAR Radio live on U97.5 FM. And let me read from an Express article, Outrage. Now this was from Monday 28 February. So this happened at Sunday. Sunday as breakfast parties all over. Bourgeois getting on. Keith Scotland in breakfast party in a week, with no health protocols, breach of every regulation inside of the FET. Go and see the videos, go and see the pictures. You feel I didn't want to go and FET? I is Mr. FET. I love to FET. But all you say it have COVID, all you say it have laws. But it seems like it only have laws for some people and laws for not for other people don't apply. Keith Scotland in a FET. He's a man, he's a lawyer. He probably advised the cabinet also with the AG because he's a brighter attorney than the AG on the health regulations. But he in a week in Queen's Hall, the government facilities, breach of regulations. Queen's Park Savannah, NCC, PNM government, breach of regulations. Then DCP, PNM telling me no reports made. But for every event, every concert, every taste of dotishness, you had to pay for police. Police on spot. So you telling me when a husband and wife driving on the car, you just had to make a report. Hey, there goes Corky and his wife. They're driving down the Uriah Butler Highway at about 100 kilometers per hour, but nobody has on a mask. I want to make this police report. Please arrest him and give him a $1,000 ticket. That's how it does work. Or police that see with their eyes and ears. It's more than 10 people. They out a pod. They crossing stage. No mask. Hugging and whining in groups of 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 300, 500 on a stage. Dribbling and sweating on each other. And taking COVID home for the unvaccinated. Because all of these are the vaccinated, you know. You know, all the vaccinated are blaming Rowley and the PNM and everybody saying it's vaccinated. The vaccinated are the haves and the unvaccinated are the have-nots. And the vaccinated are in danger from the unvaccinated. Who is all the wilos getting on them that is the vaccinated? And when they finish jamming and trying to splash water on voice and man lost in the head and want to whine on voice. When they go back home to the unvaccinated with the COVID-19, who going and dead? Who going and be the spreaders? Government, state agencies, and police do nothing. Down in Aqua, PNM Water Park, PNM promoter, PNM crowd, PNM, no police, no bus, no arrest. But all you're telling people about mandatory vaccination and COVID-19 protocol and health regulation and jail and charges and school must get locked up. 28 police must go by he because he had a party on a ocean pelican in the hot sun and the breeze. This country is a total joke. And while police not breaking up that, here what happened on Sunday. Citizens reacted with outrage yesterday after witnessing police officers attempting to shut down a protest involving the families of 4 men lost in the undersea pipeline off Pointe-à-Pierre since Friday. The warning by police officers that the protesters social distance themselves or disperse was met with contempt. So police reach a peaceful picket where people are picketing to try to save man life. And police reach there to try and harass and shred and move and disperse because of COVID-19 protocols. And simultaneously, Keith Scotland in Queen's Hall, liming and wilding up and dribbling on everybody. Where the police? And all you find this country makes sense. And all you find the PNM makes sense. And all you find that when they thwart the merit list and they bring the president to make a police service commission collapse, and the merit list disappears, and they appoint more PNM hacks onto an independent police service commission, and the prime minister say he lost confidence in an independent commissioner of police, and he decide and he put an event into place that ensures that he could choose the commissioner of police. And then all you see, people who protesting to save 4 man life, they send police to them. But wine and jam under rum in Queen's Hall with Keith Scotland in the fete. And Keith Scotland is so stupid you get catching picture in the fete. You done the head. That's why you have no portfolio. You only bright in court. So when you see the fete went wild, Keith Scotland, you didn't know you should have taken your leave. You should have bust out. Because the protocols, you write the protocols, you is the government, you advise on the protocols, you pass them in parliament, you help write the regulations, you make the law, you are in the government, you making law for people. And you inside awake fete with man on man, woman on woman, man all over, sweating all over, dribbling all over, as if COVID don't exist. So all you feel Anil didn't want to go in a fete. I Mr. Fete. But all you say it are COVID, all you say it are laws. I have vaccination, 2 Pfizer. What that mean? So y'all are saying those who are either PNM or feel PNM wouldn't do them nothing, or those who are willing to break the law could go and have a time, balance and enjoy the carnival, and the rest are we who know the regulations and the law. We is to suck salt, die the country, and then the police is to go and harass peaceful picket with labor union leaders and family members of people who dying underwater in the darkness and the cold. You send flipping police to harass them. All you is send nobody to let the people come inside and sit down in the air condition. You is send nobody to bring a little scones, coffee and milk. You had people buying pizza and bringing food and water, Victor Robertson, and bringing things for people. All you could not even bring information for the people and their family members. You could not even talk to them, treat them with love and respect. You send police to harass them. But all that same time, bourgeois PNM fetting in Queen's Hall, no protocol, no police. Wickedness! Wickedness!
Aye, wickedness.
218-7762. 218-7762. This country under Rowley just gone through.
That's
and all
sad.
of you vote for he. Fire burn each and every one of all you who want to vote for that stupidity. Hello.
Hello, good evening, Anil. Good evening, Koki. Yes, the Corey in the house.
Good evening.
Yeah, I'm not excited. I'm not happy for obvious reasons. Condolences to the family. May Lord Shiva in this time of Mahashivatri look upon them and give them some comfort, and let the souls rest in peace regardless. And for the soul survivor, I hope that he makes a full recovery and carries on. Now, I'm an engineering student. Right? I studied mechanical engineering in UV, you know that, right? And I could point out like a million things wrong with this whole thing, right? Forgive me for being a bit off topic, but you mentioned earlier in the program that also a lot of times on your douglAR Politics, the show Wednesday and Saturday, that in Trinidad and Tobago under the PNM, there is no qualification by merit. So McDonald Jacob placed 6th in a merit list, and he's the commissioner of police, but somebody who's first is a commissioner of police. And it's same with all these board appointments where people are appointed by nepotism rather than merit. So when I was studying a course called Control Systems Technology, right? I failed the course the first time, I passed the second time obviously. But the lecturer for that course, his name was Dr. Krish Prasad Manohar. And he told me, he said, listen, when you're doing at tertiary level, right? Or when you're doing any kind of form of studies to go out to the field of work, right? It's better you fail the course or you fail the theory and cry now than you go out into the field of work and you ain't know what you're doing. So, in case, stick up in there regarding the appointment of Newman George. You will know by now here articles where he's a retired civil engineer. He already know what he's doing. He's playing golf. He's already partner. He obviously got an appointment based on who you know is not who you know is who know you. So this is a classic example of people are being appointed in positions and jobs and they don't know what they're doing. They're there because there's somebody partner. So in the case of the PNM now, where you have parents here, you could not pass a pharmacological exam, but you understand what I'm saying? And all these people, you have Senator Laura Lezama, who's singing in the Senate, and she can't pass she by exam. So it's a case
even though she get 500,000 of taxpayers' dollars in a secret scholarship fund under Joan Julian and the PNM.
Exactly. So people are already PNM. Persons who are unqualified are being in these positions and they're going out and they're in the public domain and they're doing nonsense.
Absolutely.
You understand?
Correct.
And this is something that is under the PNM. And just like many callers have said before, and we'll say coming up, the problem was the PNM, the problem now is the PNM, and the problem in the future will be the PNM. Thank you. Good night.
Yes. Thank you, my brother. My boy Johnny Lucky said, don't cuss, Anil, don't cuss. All right, my brother. Good evening.
Right, Anil, I'm inside again. And tonight I'm asking questions. Fit. That 6 vehicles of police went down by Paria there.
Yes.
Did they walk with any tear gas or anything?
I ain't sure. They might have.
All right.
Yeah.
And they went to a murder scene? Okay, we ain't going to say a murder scene, a homicide scene, right? 4 people died. 4 bodies down there. Did they open my investigation? What Jam Jacob waiting for? He waiting for Rowley.
He waiting for Rowley to finish pray to tell him what to do.
I mean, it's so absurd. Them fellas don't understand what it is. It's 4 persons died.
Exactly.
The police have a responsibility to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, not for the Pimpernini and the vaccine vegan. Tell us who is culpable for it.
Correct. That is a great point. DCP Jacobs, you is not to take no instruction and wait for no report from Stuart Smallpin Young. You is police. People have reported that they were ready to go. They were ready to go to save. There have been questions about how their men went down there to work. Real problems. A myriad of laws to be investigated. You come to tell Roger and the labor union them and the families that they can't do a peaceful picket while what you name Keith Scotland and them picketing down in Queen's Hall. Party, no protocols, more than 10 people, no mask, rug up, hug up, pod, man leave pod, mash up pod, the pod not good again. And Rowley going to pray. Somebody says, yes, Rowley was praying to Lucifer. Another person say he was praying to the Lekoto Jambi. Now this is a very serious thing all you're saying there now. There's a kind of darkness over Trinidad and Tobago, you know. Some things happening all at once that maybe only happen once every 10 years, you know. Children burning in fire. Elderly couple burning in fire because the fire brigade couldn't pass because of a landslip. Another couple burned to death in fire. When the child burning to death, the fire engine thing car open. A fire truck break down. Murder all over the place. Shooting and killing. An auntie killed, shot in the back while protecting her nephews. Murder all around. Shooting, robbery, rape, kidnapping. A kind of darkness all over Trinidad and Tobago. A policeman, Port Authority police gone missing. They find him at the bottom of the ocean in a pickup. When all you ever see this kind of evil all around Trinidad and Tobago. 4 hard-working citizens, 5 of them gone down, 1 survived and to live a tortured life. 4 men dead in a pipe in dark black oil. In the darkness, 75 feet under the water, cold and alone in darkness. All you find it about evil over this country. He's not the most spiritual man. My mother used to be real spiritual, pray every day for 10 times a day, go into church, go and sing, go and dance, go and do this. But my goodness, something evil over this country, and unless we remove that evil, I don't know what to say. So when people say he was praying to the Lekoto Jambi, all you have to remember, this is not no joke. It's Rowley boss that he put spirit last, that he from Mason near Lekoto. And when Manning put him out the cabinet, you see what happened to he? It's Rowley boss about that. And if you hear me starting to believe that there could be something that Rowley do spiritual that have this whole country like this, he going to sit down with Iran in the midst of war. We are no petroleum, we are no jobs, we have death, people dying all over the place, gunshots, killers. COVID-19 deaths lurking. They come with a taste of dotishness, a taste of stupidity, and now it's a taste of death because you're going to get spiking. In 8 more days, you're going to see COVID-19 above 1,000, 1,100, 1,200, back up to 15 deaths per day. Why? Because Rowley and them says, okay, all you go and take a taste. NCC, PNM, Savannah, do what you want, cross the stage. Pod me no pod, all you jump out pod and whine and cross the stage. The pods didn't move across the stage. All over the country, down in Aqua Park, no protocol, COVID don't exist. But you're trying to charge people in car for not wearing masks with their wife and husband. But something dark around this country. All your people who does pray, all your spiritual people, I call upon you all to pray. Pray for all and we pray for the country. Because something going on. I never see so much crazy evil across a country, across the board. For the first time in my life, I starting to believe a little 2% that, boy, a man make a deal somewhere and we all suffering for it. Never before would I even consider, because I'm a logical thinker. My mother tell me you cannot just be logical, you have to understand, you have to believe. But I didn't listen to she, but I starting to learn, Victor Roberts. There's an evil in this country. When the spiritual people say, move Satan, move out my way, let me pass. All you have to sing that now. Because like Satan sitting on my neck. All you ever see so much madness in one time in one little country. Darkness, clouding we cannot breathe like we in a pipe with oil up to the 80% and we gasping for breath.
Can't breathe.
The oil and the darkness over we. So when all you say that Rowdy must be praying to Lekoto, or he was praying to Lucifer, I ain't taking that as joke no more. Normally I would have laughed off that and say, oh God, let's stop it.
Yeah.
But right now I'm saying, but this thing could be true. Hello, good evening.
Hey, Arnold, good night. Condolences go out to the family here. People are well sad, boy. Banally, you're right. Something really wrong, boy. We got zombie, but what it is really going on, boy?
I don't understand something, boy. In
Boy.
all my life, I never seen nothing like this. So much madness.
But Anil, if we're going on the third month for the year, what it is really going on?
I don't
We
know.
really need prayers, boy. Really need
All I
prayers.
go say is all the people who does pray, all your prayers, pray hard.
Right.
Blessings, my brother. Rowley, say he pray. He is the prime minister. He in charge of Paria. He control all the resources, all the equipment, all the mobilization. He had the decision. We see for 4 days. When man dead, he come to say he was praying. Praying to who? And when you praying, how come darkness covering all of we when Rowley pray? How come? I want some all your spiritual people answer that for me. Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Cascadia again.
Talk to me.
Yes. You see, Mr. Jacob, how silly he is, said that he go to investigate the incident that took place. He get a wire to go and run people from protest. You see how silly he is? This one sit up and say he prayed. He prayed for people to be in a destroying the city. Like when he went along and praying for what? People dead. Eh? People dead, you sit down praying. Eh? Praying for what? Praying for what? So you keeping a wait one time for these people? You don't even get bored yet if they're dead below there? Eh? You criminal, bald-headed, dotish fool. Thank you.
218-7762. Hello, good evening. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Senator Robert.
Good evening.
My condolences goes out to those families of those persons who met the untimely demise at the hands of Paria. But I have a question. Why would 5 experienced divers undertake such a mission without the safety protocols being in place to their satisfaction? That's my first concern. My second concern is to answer the question of why the PNM missing Kamla Monday night. The Prime Minister, Keith Rowley, admitted that they listened to Kamla so that they could get advice and direction from her. He always gives them hints of what to do. You recall the incident with the Coast Guard and the baby when he openly said, but Kamla always calling for me to close the borders, and when we close the borders, they complain. So he listens to her carefully. Thirdly, the problem that you having with the Senate President, oh God, Anil is a big man. You see what she wants now.
No, don't put me in that. No, I can't do that, boy. Oh God, no. No.
You see what she wants.
No way. No.
Yes. You have no choice. Take one for the team.
No, boy. Don't do me that.
And you know, take one for the team.
No, boy, I can't do that, boy.
Yeah, you have no choice.
No, I choose. I choose.
You must have some friend who looks down in the darkness. See if you can encourage somebody. No,
well, I try to you take it from me. You is my brother. Save me.
No. This is a cross.
Oh,
you
Lord.
have to carry it.
At least you make me laugh today, boy. That's the first laugh I laugh for today.
But listen, in all seriousness, why were those divers felt so compelled to go down in the water, experienced divers, knowing that all safety protocols were not in place for them to do that?
Well, we
This
will
is madness.
have to hear that report.
It's clear that workers under duress.
Well, we'll wait for that part. We'll wait for the report. But what I can tell you is that the communication, the inhumane treatment of family members, the lack of information and the disrespect to the population meted out by the Prime Minister, who now surfaced after 3.5 days to tell we he pray.
Well, the last time Roger went on that hallowed ground, it was to salute Petrotron workers. So he partly responsible for all the expertise that used to be the Petrotrim refinery company not being present to deal with something as tragic as this. He is partly responsible. I don't know why he didn't throw him in the water, let he go and get him back.
Later. But you are correct, because when we play games with Rowley, that's why I said to my learned expert Denise Deming, I listen to you and I agree, but you have some responsibility because you put Rowley there.
Hello, good night.
Good evening.
Anil, I call back by. I is the man who was asking you if it had safety on the job. Well, since as everybody's saying it didn't have the required safety equipment, that job should start.
Well, we'll have to wait for that. I can't tell you because I don't know. So we'll have to see what was there, what wasn't there, what was missing. I know all those technical things. I have to read reports and so on. But what I know is what I know, and I want to talk today. The inhumane, no heart of the PNM. The clown Stuart Young who talking about gap. That gap between the ears. It a gap in the heart. It a gap in the brain. It a gap in the PNM. Hello?
Yes, sir, there you go. Your cousin here.
How you going, my brother?
I did, my brother. We have to get rid of this man, my brother. My brother, the people of Trinidad, they are cowards. All they're studying to do is to put the poor lady in front called Camilla. They're not trying to fight for their own self. Every top had to sit on your own bottom, every man had to stand on your own 2 feet. But they want you to go out there to get yourself in trouble. They don't understand this is not a Camilla thing alone. For this to work with Camilla had to join with the House Assembly with Fadi and them to shut down this country. She can't do it from over there alone. And he have a woman here, a spiritual mother of mine, could stop Rowley on the tracks. But just because Rowley mother and she grew up together, she has stopped him yet. Right? I am going back to her. She could stop him. The things I see that woman do, the things I see that woman is unbelievable.
Well, explain something to me. Am I correct? Because you might know more about spiritual thing than me. That something dark over this country, something evil just lurking in every nook and cranny. Is it just me or I just seen all these things happening that don't make no sense?
No, it's an evil over this place. What happened? Now, when this boat come in with this set of dead men in Tobago here, right? It comes straight to certain places with these dead men. And they didn't get proper people to go and sanction these people back out of here. They get people from here to go and bring in the boat now into the land. They wasn't to do that. They wasn't to do that. I see a time it had a tree in Lekito, right? A silk cotton tree. I don't care how excavators try to push that down, he couldn't push it down. It is an African man start to say prayers and the tree fall after that.
Well, find that man and tell him pray on Rowley for me later.
The woman I telling you about could stop Rowley. I am telling you that.
Well, you go and find she for me, please, because our
I
country
talk to she.
cannot take this no more.
Going back to mother.
God bless. Thank you, my brother. Thank you, because I don't know what to do again. This country ain't nothing ain't working right. Everything going wrong. Some of the most heinous. Look. Hello, good evening.
Good night, Anil. How are you going, man? Johnny.
How are you going, my brother?
You know, something struck me. Well, condolences to the family of those people. I mean, that is a sad day. It's very sad, you know. But 15, I was in Caranage. I was doing a work in Shagram. I came up here. I stopped by that shop there to get cigarettes. Opposite the new fishing pit. Yes. So there was two ladies on the pavement waiting for a bus. And I hear these ladies saying, you hear what she say? She say, blood go flow if PNM win here. I say, madam, good morning, but why you say that? Maybe she's talking the truth. She's the devil. You go see blood flow if she was there. But you'll never flow in PNM there. I said, well, look at this thing now, man. Come on, show them it, though. All the best.
All the best, my brother. God bless. 218-7762. 218-7762. I don't know what to tell all there again. Huh? Hello, good evening.
Hi, Daniel, good evening, boy. How you going?
Oh, Lord, where my soca,
Your
boy?
partner.
Where my soca? I ain't, because I behaving and I following the law, me ain't get to drink a rum and soda, to take a wine, lift my hand.
What you gonna do, boy? I had plenty here, that's it, you know, and I know you had plenty too.
Boy.
Hear this, you know, passed through my mind recently. Everything in the past 7 years is Kamla, wherever. Kamla, that's the mantra, eh? Any newcomers in the party, Gonzalo, like you train them to that. After you get a chance, say something about Kamla.
Correct.
How come when they lose the Tobago election, they say Kamla calls them to lose that?
Good point.
How come they say Kamla make them lose the election?
Correct.
You find that real passing strange, boy?
That real strange.
But let me tell you what caused that. Before the election, remember they were saying Kamala interfering?
Yes.
It's a bluff she fell day. But they feel they could play poker. And when she withdraw now, Kamala in there, and they get wood. So they can't say that.
Don't study them, you know. Some of them would like to get wood. You call Minister, man, Kid Scotland, all of them. Them like that, yes? Blessings. Oh, Lord. Oi, Cocky.
Yeah.
Line up that Lord Shorty for me.
All right.
Because I want them listen to that because... Hello, good evening.
Good night, Cocky and Senator.
How you going?
Sir, yes, sir.
Trying to keep my condolences to the family of the bereaved. May God, Bhagwan, intervene and give them the strength at this time. Mr. Senator, Mr. Victor was saying two things, and I would like to take 2 moments to tell Piper to not to resign, hold on to that position, because the family should take him to court for negligence and sue them. And you see George, Human George, they're supposed to sue them because it's in Tetrotrin. The safety protocol is hereby, but Paria have none. They have no safety to say that up to standard. They say they have an office, and when time to practice it, they're not doing it. First thing first, the Coast Guard come and say that it's unsafe. But the Coast Guard, the other day when they tell them the lost a boat in the sea with high tech, they shoot a child, Rowley say it's accidental, he get a report. For 3 days now. But let me stick to the point. Under health and safety, the line where the driver is supposed to have to go in that area. Ask Piper if it's he who turned on the pump and who is the fella turned on the pump, because people talking. Just as I tell them that Augusta Flock, they're killing people and you have evidence. Ask Piper, and that's asking a question, who turned on the pump? And this time, it won't be like Nike one, they will cover it up. It will not be like the fishermen and them in the sea, and they will cover it up. Senator, all safety protocol, and thanks to the UNC for putting the OSHA Act into law, and we had to fight it to get it implemented, right? Yeah. And thank God, right, that no, them fellas like Piper and George could be held accountable in a court of the land. And I want to see now, is Chot Young going to get, and you know what we want now? A forensic audit and investigation from foreigners, and I want all the trading partners and the ISO, I want to know what rating Paria have. Because here what's going on, the breach and is the people suffering. And too long.
Thank you, my brother. And the problem is the people, they're not even letting the family in right now when they're saying that the bodies have come up. But as you all say, I telling all you who more spiritual than me, pray please. Because while you all studying who is African and who is Indian, instead of who is Trinbagonian, understand that Marshall Montano, a brother of the soil from Siparia, Marshall Montano, a young legend of Trinidad and Tobago. On Tuesday, soca superstar Marshall Montano will perform at the biggest event of his career, the Mahashivratri celebrations at Isha Yoga Center in India. Mahashivratri is one of the largest and most sacred festivals in India. In 2021, the gathering at Isha Yoga Center attracted more than 120 million people in person and online. Marshall Montano, Trinidad and Tobago, will be performing at the Mahashivratri celebrations in India. So while y'all have Rowley playing race games and dividing our nation, spiritually, unity, Trinidad and Tobago, India, one love, African, Indian, douglAR, spiritual. That's where Marshall Montano is representing. So forget the race and vote on sense. Discuss on sensible topics. Who did right and who did wrong? Who could do better and who must do better? Condolences to the families and friends of Kazim Ali Jr., Yusuf Henry, Faisal Kurban, and Rishi Nagasa. May they rest in eternal peace.
Birthdays, graduations, weddings, kids of dawn. Among the fallen were also teachers, men and women who devoted their lives to helping our children fulfill their dreams. So our hearts are broken today.
I swear I said I wanna move from this old town. Somewhere far away to a new town. But when I heard what happened in Newtown, I fell on my knees on the cold ground. My condolences to you. I don't wanna believe it's true. I saw it on the news. My condolences to you. My condolences to you. My condolences to you. Pictures of angels fill my timeline. Friends saying their goodbyes. Hundreds of thousands shares at night lights. I swear the whole world is crying. My condolences to you. I don't wanna believe it's true. I saw it on the news. My condolences to you. My condolences to you. My condolences to you. I swear I heard a voice in my dream last night that said, "Mommy, please don't cry. And tell Daddy I'm gonna be just fine. 'Cause now that I'm an angel I can fly." My condolences to you. I don't wanna believe it's true. I saw it on the news. My condolences to you. My condolences to you. My condolences to you. You are not alone. I am here with you. some time, but together we'll make it through. You're not alone, and I am here with you. I know it may take some time. My condolences to you.
Charlotte, Daniel, Olivia, Josephine, Anna,
My
Dylan,
condolences to you.
Madeline, Catherine,